Do you think, so you guys were some of the earliest sort of sailing adopters on YouTube to start having regular content on a consistent basis and turn that into a business. Do you think there's still the opportunity for people to do that now, starting from zero? And do you reckon it's as hard or harder or easier than when you started?
Well,
I think it's different, like I remember when we started, it was only a few other channels, it was very early and we didn't have to play the YouTube game as much, like we didn't think so much about thumbnails. We named our videos the most ridiculous things like diving mecca of the coral universe. Like nobody knows what that is, it was more like internal jokes and stuff. So I think that has definitely changed a lot. Like now to have your videos show, you kind of have to go a little bit into the route of choosing the right thumbnails, because it's so
I can tell you the formula. You got to have bright colors, a face close by, girl in a bikini, and some sort of tragedy, like something bad has to happen, or somebody has to be crying, or some storm at sea, or some incident of some kind.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody does. And
it's silly, but at the same time, like, I don't know, you kind of fall into we've fallen into the same thing. And we find that, you can do all the calculations and you put another thumbnail up there of, something different. And like Brian standing somewhere, and you can just see, like, it just doesn't do as good. So then you're like, well, maybe we should just play the game,
We kind of play it, but not really. Like we're somewhere, like at least we have.
We're fighting it.
Because we at least we have a good sized audience, and they like our videos enough to watch them, whether it has a boring thumbnail and title or not. And sure, we'll get less views on those, but we like the videos, and we've always kind of made them for ourselves anyway, really. And so
I think, like, regardless, like, because we do meet a lot of people also that ask us about advice and like, what can I do and how can I become a success, because there's also a lot of people out there that do really, really amazing videos and they just don't get the views, and they just like, I'm putting in so much hours and it's just not paying off. But I also think it's important to think about, we started so early and we made videos for 3 years before it even started, making money.
Yeah.
So like, we still, even though it was that early in the game, and I think now it is harder because it's so many more channels out there.
I think there's hundreds, if not thousands.
So of course it's going to be, people aren't going to find your stuff as easily. So it's definitely hard. But I think if you're doing it for the right reasons, because you love it, not maybe just because you want to make money from it, hopefully that is enough to shine through. And you have to play the game as well, all right? I mean, you do, to some extent.
Especially for starting out.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been noticeable that the thumbnails of, in fact, Karen, maybe you were one of the girls, girls with just their bikini bottoms on, facing away, but topless. There was a thumbnail of that. I think you got quite a lot of views for that a few years ago. Maybe that was Mauritius somewhere or something.
Yeah.
And now we get thumbnails of, I think the one I saw last week was like just driving in the dinghy with the three of you and Sierra or something like that. And two of you and Sierra. And I guess you're privileged with a large audience to not have to always play the game anymore, or not have to sell that lifestyle type thing anymore. You can do what you please and you've got a bit more freedom.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we still need to do something that we feel right about. Like I'll never forget the first time that we were on passage and we were sailing a long time ago. Like one of our first videos from Australia to where was it? We were going to Fiji, and our friend Nina. No, we were going to Indonesia, and our friend Nina was on board, and like. She just happened to be topless on the back of the boat, like washing, like bathing. And then my brother Brady was like sitting there just eating an orange, like not even paying attention to it. And I was like, well, this is so hilarious because, you know, I'm looking back and Brady's eating an orange, not even paying attention to our topless friend behind him. I was like, that's a great thumbnail. And so like, you know, I was just like, that'll be funny. And I took it and I blurred her out, and then it started getting like hundreds of thousands of views. And I was like, that's all you have to do is blurt out girl in bikini on the boat and people will just watch. And I was like, well,
we've even blurred guys out though, and it works the same.
Oh yeah, we blurred out Brady one time and that one got views
he
too.
goes so good. I was like, well, it just
anything
it doesn't have it make any sense right now.
We definitely do less of that.
Come from
like we're sailing around with our daughter, right? So it's way different.
That's it. That's so true. I did an interview before Christmas with a you know, the TV show Naked and Afraid. I don't know whether you probably don't watch much TV.
Yeah.
And so I one of the Naked and Afraid contestants, a girl called Sarah. Actually, she lives in Washington State, actually. And we only had a headshot for the thumbnail, but with the keywords, obviously, you know, hashtag or a keyword of naked, a keyword of afraid, a keyword of naked and afraid. And then I started like diving into where all the and we got really, really short view time. Like some of the view time was sort of 20 seconds. Like that was like the average. And I'm like, what on earth? Because the numbers are sky high, but the view time's nothing. And then I started looking at the most, where most of the views, and it got put in playlists and whatever else. And you start investigating the playlists, and you find out that the playlists it's been included in, other people's playlists, are mostly full of half-naked Korean females and whatever else. And actually, people were just seeing the title in the image and going, naked female, I'll watch that for 20 seconds. And
it's an excellent point you make, because there's views, but then there's quality views. And, you know, for a quality view, you want somebody to watch usually, 60% or more of your video. And if you're getting view durations in the seconds or the minutes, then that means that you've gotten somebody to watch, but you haven't captivated them. And YouTube actually sees that, right? They see that, well, this is interesting to some people, but people don't really watch this video for some reason or another. And so I'm likely to not recommend it as much. And so there was a period of time where, YouTube really started paying attention to view duration as an indicator of quality. And if your videos were going out to the right kind of demographic and people. And so we made a decision, it was probably about 5 years ago now, that we were not going to do that sort of stuff anymore. And that we would just focus on getting as many of the right types of people to watch the videos as we could. And I think that really made a huge difference in our project. Less views, but they were quality views, It
makes a huge difference. In everything you do in business, actually, quality over quantity normally wins eventually.